American drama, a pilot show which hadn't even been named up to this point. At the time, I was thinking, it's a pilot, that's all, maybe 10 or 12 days' work, he said. I didn't assume it would go any further than that. Most times they don't. Yet Laurie could tell from just a quick read of the dialogue that it was different. It was good material, and the character sounded very interesting. Although an interesting character, Hugh didn't think for 1 minute that the role he was auditioning for was actually going to be the central figure of the proposed show. It's tradition on American television that the central figure is usually the morally good person, which, in Hollywood, often means being good-looking with a 44-inch chest and a chiseled jawline to die for. The scenes I got described House and Wilson, and I actually read for both, explained Hugh. But I thought that Wilson was the main character. He was the sort of clean-cut hero who would save lives and do battle with evil and fight crime generally, and I would be the sort of irritable but soft-hearted sidekick. He admitted that it wasn't until he got the entire script a while later that he realized House was the main character. It wasn't called House. It didn't have a title then, so that was the biggest surprise, to discover they were going to make the whole show about this character, and they were going to call it House. And they were making a show about such an apparently unlikable and complicated guy. Usually, on American TV, the hero is very handsome and very good, and they're saints, they're saintly figures. And this was an unusual thing, to have such a horrible man in the middle of the show. But I loved him, right from the start. I just loved the character. He made me laugh, and I just fell for him. I liked him right at the beginning. Nevertheless, hero or not, main character or just a walk-on part, like most things Hugh had done in his career, he was determined to give it his best shot. I didn't want to fail again at an audition I knew I could have done well. Like every other actor, I've done hundreds of auditions, but nothing ever happens. So this time, I decided that I was not going to leave the room smacking my forehead and going, damn it, if only I'd done this. I was sick of my own feebleness in the face of stress, so I worked hard at it, and I did get it right. He even improvised, using an old battered umbrella to lean on instead of a cane. It wasn't the dialogue that worried him. It was like a piece of music. I felt like I knew how it should sound. It didn't have anything to do with medical accuracy or behavioral accuracy. These pages, to me, seemed like pieces of music, and I just knew how they should be played, he revealed. What did play on his mind was the fact that he was required to play the role with an American accent. Although he had some experience from past performances to draw on, such as his role in the Stuart Little films and, of course, various comedy sketches, he didn't want it to sound too fake. I could hear the character in my head, said Hugh, the rhythm of his speech, what he was hiding behind, the meanness and sarcasm. I could see him very clearly in my head from the start. Hugh took a deep breath and talked at the camera. I apologize for my appearance, but... He paused. Things haven't been going too well lately. A longer pause followed. He glanced at the floor for a few seconds, and then, as if by magic, he seemed to transform into a different person. Or maybe he was just being himself. It all seemed so natural. Gone were the comical facial expressions that fans of shows like Blackadder were used to. This was serious stuff. For the next few minutes, it actually looked like he wasn't acting at all. In fact, it was so convincing and effortless, he appeared to be just having an everyday conversation with someone else in the room, albeit in a fake New Jersey accent. The drawl was just perfect. Laurie later credited this to a misspent youth watching too much TV and too many movies. So, with the audition recorded and the actor pleased...